Don't save money.
No.
Don't save money in a self-employed account.
When I retired, it was around 80,000 a year.
Okay, second guess.
15 million sounds like a good number.
No, that's crazy. I don't know.
No, at 19.
I don't love these videos. I'm taking down all the crazy myths that you see about retirement today, especially in early retirement. I'm a certified financial planner and the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, as well as vice president at Root. Let's hop right in because there's some crazy stuff online and I want to make sure that you're not following anything you don't need to. Make sure that you can retire early with confidence. Most of you know it already, but I don't subscribe to that FIRE definition. Financial independence, retire early. I prefer financial independence, recreational employment. So most of you don't want to do nothing. You want to do something. You just want it to be fulfilling. And you don't want to have to do it forever. You want to know when you're in a financial spot that you no longer need to do it. So let's make sure that we're getting rid of all of these myths out there. Let's hop right in.
Have you heard of the 4% money rule? It's pretty cool. And it's actually a rule that a lot of people use to retire early. Let's say that your investments are...
I don't like the 4% rule. Okay, a lot of you might know this already, but if you don't, here's the problem with the 4% rule. Everyone uses the 4% rule because it's just well known. But a lot of people eat Cheetos because they're well known. Doesn't mean they're healthy. So what I want you to think about is the following. The 4% rule was developed by Bill Bengen. I won't go into the details, that makes you fall asleep, but it was based on the fact that if you have $1 million and you want to retire early, it doesn't really work, and here's why. If you have $1 million, that is designed with this 4% rule to say that you can take out $40,000 every single year until you pass away, right? Well, that is right, but it's based on the fact that you retire at 65 and live until 95, that traditional retirement. If you want to retire early, which she's not alluding to right now, you might need this income for 40 plus years. So I'm not trying to be mean to her, but the reality is you need this income for a long time. So you have to plan differently. The 4% rule also, my big ick with it, is it doesn't take into account taxes. So if you have $1 million, you can take out $40,000 every single year and be rest assured you won't run out of money, right? Well, wait a second. If you want to take out $40,000 every single year, are you really taking out 50 or 55 out of your 401k or your IRA to end up with $40,000 after taxes? Are you adjusting that for inflation? The 4% rule only invests in 2 asset classes. That's what the study was based on. Intermediate term, US bonds, and large caps in America. And so that means large companies. I don't want you just relying on 2 asset classes. I want to have a diversified portfolio. And if you invest well, there's a better approach if you want to retire early that was developed by John Guyton. It's called the guardrails approach. And instead of this 4% rule, what it is the study designed for 40 years, not 30. And I get passionate about this stuff because I do not want you to retire early on the 4% rule. And what you're going to do is you're going to invest in a whole bunch of different asset classes, emerging markets, international, developed, real estate, all caps. You're gonna invest in all these different asset classes because they're all gonna perform differently. And the name of the game when you're coming up to an early retirement is income. And if you rely on this 4% rule, it just won't work. But let's see what she says.
growing at, on average, 8% per year. So if your money is growing at 8% on average, you could, in theory, take out that growth every single year, and you would never have to actually dip into the money that's currently sitting there.
It's a lovely thought, but it doesn't work, and here's why. 8% makes perfect sense if you get 8% every single year, but you don't. Some years you do a whole lot better, and some years you do a whole lot worse. So what she's not alluding to is if the stock market goes down 10%, which, by the way, on average, every single year, it goes down, it has fluctuations up to 14% in a negative direction. So the average is 10% every year of the S&P 500. However, it has intra-year fluctuations of 14%. What if markets go down 10%? Are you still gonna take 4% out of your portfolio? Because if you do, that's a 14% decline, and that's not adjusting for inflation for other years. So this concept that you take 4% out and you make 8%, it works beautiful on paper. She's right. Assuming the market does 8% every single year, but it doesn't. And so you have to change how much you pull from your portfolio based on how markets do. What 99% of people do is they close their eyes, and no matter what happens, they just take their monthly income. I want my clients to have a core expense that no matter what, they can take it. But in certain months, I'm saying don't take the extra trip, and here's why. Other months, I'm saying, hey, give yourself a bonus, just like you're your own employer now. When you retire, that's kind of what it is. You now give yourself a bonus, and now what you're gonna do is actually go take an extra trip because you did well. So this theory, 4% rule for an early retirement, no good. But let's keep going.
And you could do this indefinitely. Let me give you a real life example.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's say you and your partner are in your early 50s, you've been working your whole career and saving diligently, and you now have $600,000 saved in your investment.
Okay, 600.
Investments grow by the average 8% this year. you will have made $48,000 just from having your money sit there. Technically, if you took out that $48,000, it would be replaced again next year with another $48,000.
Yeah, what if your investments don't grow by that? That's more of my concern. Now, if your investments do, which by the way, I have clients and you could invest and easily do better than 8% or 10%, but it depends on how much you're pulling every single year. So I don't love the 4% rule because to me, it's too cookie cutter. And a lot of you know this by now, but I don't do age and risk tolerance. It's too cookie cutter. I go, how much income do you want to spend? And what percent of your portfolio is that? What about the timing of income? So this 4% rule. Do you have $1 million? Is it in a 401k? Is it in a brokerage account? Is it in a Roth IRA? What about taxes? So it just doesn't go deep enough. So that's the first one I want to analyze for you guys.
How to retire and never run out of money.
Ooh.
One is to understand the 4% rule. The rule states,
Once again, 4% rule. It's just what we know. People aren't using updated rules. No more 4% rule. I'm going to link to this video right here, and you're going to see, watch this video, why the 4% rule is not great. Okay, I go into more detail, and if you want to retire early, please watch this video.
you can withdraw 4% of your invested assets every year and never run out of money. For example, if this retirement account was worth $500,000, you could
No more of this trash. Whoever queued this video, out. Okay, not having this. Just kidding. It was me.
To most idiots out there, they go, oh, I have a 401k. Well, you've been sold a bill of goods, sweetheart.
Unfortunately, he's right. Even the creator of the 401k has called it a monster that should be destroyed. Meanwhile, so many Americans are sticking their cash in this prison.
Why is it a prison? You can add dollars, you get a tax deduction, it grows, you take it out, yeah, you pay taxes on it, you got a deduction, you grew your money, it grows tax deferred, you take it out, you pay taxes on it. I have clients right now, I am the host, as you all know, Early Retirement Podcast. Most of the clients that are coming to me, they have a 401k. That's the reality. So I'm getting heated about this right now because some people will watch a video like this, not put money into their 401k, and clients are coming to me and they're saying, all right, my kids are watching these videos and now they're not using their 401k or Roth IRA because they heard it was a scam. It's not a scam. Real companies, go invest in your 401k. But let's see what she has to say.
Where they literally can't touch it, can't do anything with it without huge penalties. And they don't even realize there's huge fees associated with these plans.
Not huge fees, depends on the plan. Now, sometimes the fees are way higher than I'd like to see. So I have videos talking about the fees of a 401k, but you have to realize what's going on. If you're working at a company, and I have a client that works at Honeywell, okay? Now they're an engineer there and they have their 401k at Fidelity. And Honeywell is saying, you know what, Fidelity, we're gonna use some of your funds because they're paying them some commission or kickback on the back end. So they're saying, use all our Fidelity products, okay? It's not huge fees, it's extremely low in the grand scheme of things. And compared to the other option, which is nothing, okay, you wanna use the 401k. Now, in terms of the fact that you can't touch it for a long time, that's the point. I'm seeing too much short-term desire and not enough long-term deferral, okay? Short-term desire, long-term deferral. I don't want you to think about touching the funds in the near term. That's why I like a 401k. The 401k, it locks it up for some time on purpose. I like that. It's locking into your retirement. I don't want you to touch it.
And they're deferring their taxes, which is terrifying because our country is $31 trillion in debt.
You are deferring the taxes. It's tax deferral growth. You make $100,000, you put $20,000 into a 401k. The government's only taxing you on $80,000. You got a $20,000 deduction. That deduction helps so you don't have to pay as much in taxes. Now you defer it and you grow and grow and grow. And if you're using good tax strategy like I talk about in my videos, you're not going to be paying a crazy amount of taxes on it because you're going to be doing strategic Roth conversions and you're going to actually come out in a win-win situation. Also, pro tip, consider a Roth 401k. What that means is the money goes in just like a Roth IRA. It's already been taxed, never taxed ever again.
I'm willing to bet taxes are going to go up.
Me too.
There's a premium strategy that used to only be available to those with a $5 million net worth.
Let's see.
That now is available to everyone.
I'm sure she doesn't get a commission.
This strategy allows you to access your cash at any time, gives you a tax-free retirement income that is projected to produce 3 times more than traditional.
Sounds good.
If you're ready for this strategy, text READY 3050.
And if it was that easy, everyone would text it and everyone would be retired, but it's not. And so likely it's a universal life insurance or some other life insurance product. My background, I was at a life insurance company. It's not financial planning, okay? Life insurance is fine. Go buy term life insurance if there's someone that needs you in case something happens to you. But that's pretty much it. outside of that, the variable life insurance products and all these crazy schemes you see, they're just not ideal because the fees are huge and you're paying commissions to people like this who may seem very nice, but they're actually getting giant commissions and kickbacks and all these different things that actually put you in a worse spot over time. So always happy to do the analysis. So some people are gonna watch this video and go, no, I don't think you're right, Ari, 401ks are trash. I say, great, let's analyze it side by side. Like, I'm all about hearing everyone out. Now, some people say, why would you even put her on your platform? I'm like, well, I'm just open. I wanna hear everyone out and give my opinion. So hopefully that was helpful. One more.
How much money do you think you need to retire right now?
I'm 19, so probably like 10 million? Is that enough? I won't.
How could someone even know?
I have no idea. Maybe like 15 million? Like, I have no idea.
15 million sounds like a good number.
No, that's crazy. I don't know.
Oh, at 19.
I don't love these videos. The reason I don't love these videos is because she doesn't know how much she needs. 10 million, 15 million, what about inflation? What about taxes? It's overwhelming. I prefer the questions of how much can you save every single year? And they're like, well, I make 60,000 a year. Maybe I could put in 10%. Is that good? And you go, well, try to aim for 15% and inspire the generation as opposed to put fear into it. In my opinion, all he's doing is saying $15 million. How on earth am I going to get that? Oh my gosh, am I never going to retire? She's 19. She's so far away. I would rather say, what if you put $6,000 into a Roth IRA for 30 years? And they go, okay, $6,000, 30 years, that's $180,000. I go, that's right. Now, if you got 10% growth on that, it becomes $1 million. Do you see why it's amazing? They go, well, let me just wrap my head around it. I put 180,000 in, now it's worth $1 million. Okay, so a lot of growth. I go, yeah, 820,000 of it is growth on your money. You didn't do any extra work. You didn't attend any more meetings. All you did was get growth on your money. So you put in 180 and it grew by 820. The value of doing awesome planning and investing only a little bit, like 6,000 every single month, is you're gonna be in 6,000 every year, excuse me, you're gonna be in an awesome spot. And then she goes, Mom, Dad, I heard about this Roth IRA today. Let me go try to open that. So that's why I don't love these videos, but let's keep watching.
19, retired today? Yeah.
I don't know. Everything's so expensive, and I love living in the city, so hopefully I'd stay here.
Don't scare her.
What's the day in the life look like? What's the $15 million retirement lifestyle?
Well, hopefully living pretty comfortably and sending my kids to a good school and being able to travel.
I'm sorry, this is fluff content. I don't even know why he's asking this question. Like, what's the premise of asking this question? I would argue that once again, it's not just about putting fear, it's inspiring. And I would ask questions like, okay, pretend you're retired and you had a job that you really love for many, many years. Now, what are you gonna do? I don't know, spend time with family. And I go, yep, you could absolutely do that. What else? And they go, well, outside of that, I'm not so sure. I go, what if you had a job that you loved? Like, would you do it into your 70s or 80s? And they go, well, maybe not 80s. That's pretty late. I go, I know. And I'll laugh with them and say, you know, what if you did it just into your 70s? And they go, well, I'd have to really love it. And I go, what do you love? They go, well, I'm 19. I'm still considering what I love. I go, what if every 6 months you just tried something new? Shadowed a different profession. Like, that's what I did. And I love doing it. So that's kind of the direction I'd want to lean towards.
Travel and stuff, a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, go on vacations in the winter, I don't know, that's it.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I think 15 million will get you there. How much money?
He has no idea. Once again, I don't love it because he doesn't know if 15 million is going to get him there. In fact, 15 million in 40 years from now is not going to be worth 15 million bucks. So we have to go, wait a second, what's that even going to be worth? 15 million is going to be worth 5 million bucks. And so even at that point, assuming that's the case, do you know how many things are going to go on in her life? Like, all he did was actually scare her. And I don't think that his questions kind of came across the way he hoped.
What is it that you do for a living?
I'm retired now.
So what did you do for a living?
I was a maintenance technician at a drywall plant.
Okay.
Good for him. I think a lot of people now think they have to be some fancy executive to retire and make millions. You don't. You can have a blue-collar job and do just fine. So I like this video so far.
Awesome. And if you don't mind me asking, how much were you making there?
It's time.
I have no idea because I haven't seen this video yet, but if I was going to put a guess, and I could be totally off here, she said, how much was he making? I want you all to think about it in your head. I don't know exactly, but you want to put 120, maybe 80?
When I retired, it was around 80,000 a year.
Okay, second guess.
Did you like what you did?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Awesome. And did you feel like you were...
To me, that's success. This is the first video I love. He liked what he did. He retired. I wish he was able to prioritize his health a little bit more, but at the end of the day, he is happy and he's in good state. So good questions. Good on you, girl.
paid fairly?
Yeah.
What is it that you do for a living?
Great video. These are the videos I like because people are gonna watch him and go, wow, like this is a happy guy. He did well. Like that's what I wanna see. So I like this one.
Nope. Nope.
Doesn't like a 401k, okay? Doesn't like a 401k, doesn't like a Roth IRA, doesn't like mutual funds, okay? Let's see, what does he like? Don't save money. Don't save money in a self-employed account. A SEP account is a self-employed pension account. So if you're self-employed, you can add dollars to that. Kind of like a 401k, but different preferences and values. Now, the other account, 403b, that's if you're working at a hospital or some other organization. So like a 401k. Let's see what he does like. Okay, don't save money and get guaranteed 5%. If you have 100,000 bucks in your savings account, you're probably getting a few dollars, if that, okay, at 0.0001%. Now, if you go and put that into a high yield savings and get 5%, well, right off the bat, you made 5,000 bucks on that 100,000, you did no work at all. So don't really see the issue there, just kidding, giant issue. Why on earth would you not consider that? But let's see what he has to say. Okay. So IUL, Indexed Universal Life Insurance. Now, my issue with Indexed Universal Life Insurance, there's a lot of issues, but mainly it's the commissions and fees going to guys like this. So why does he like it? Because he's making a lot of money. So my issue with the industry, and a lot of you know this, my parents were burned by multiple financial advisors, and one of the reasons I became an advisor is because of all of the hidden fees and kickbacks and commissions you see. So when I see a guy like this who's going, I like this because I'm making a big commission, of course he does. This makes perfect sense.
One of the things I learned really early into my retirement was that,
Pro tip, if you walk in nature, you retired. Just kidding. But it seems like anyone who's walking, looks older, and is in nature, like, beat the game, okay? Let's keep watching.
a lot of people who retire and who can afford to remain retired, meaning they're financially in a place where they do not have to re-enter the workforce, still re-enter the workforce.
True.
And I can't speak to each one of those people, but I can tell you what almost happened to me was I got to this point where I felt useless. And I felt like I was just like...
Sorry, I hear this all the time. I hear this all the time where people are like, I don't even know what I'm doing at work. Like, what's the value of doing this? Not just to the company, but to their life. They're not prioritizing their health or time with family or you name it. And so when I'm seeing videos like this is legit stuff that I hear all day, every day. So you're watching this video going, hey, yeah, that's some old guy talking about retirement. No, this is real stuff. So I'm loving that he's bringing this up.
It's like a waste, like not producing. And it took me a little while. It took me about 6 months to come to the realization that I don't have to be productive to deserve to relax. I don't have to be solving somebody else's problem to justify my existence. And that is a tough little journey to make, but it's gotta happen.
Love this powerful message. I think a lot of you do think you have to be productive because why? You've been productive for so long, and the idea of not being productive kind of feels like you're dying. And this is what I'll tell my clients, and they've been loving this. Go be a mentor. If you're in a position to retire, go retire and mentor other people. It can be in the same position you did or something else. People don't know because I just think people are busy. My clients are awesome, and a lot of you are awesome, and you're so awesome you don't even know it. Meaning people would dream to be you. People would dream to be my clients. They have millions of dollars, they're in a great spot, they've retired early, they're doing the dream. They can now spend time with family and health and this and that. They're people that want to be in their position. Go mentor people to be able to be in your position. Like truly pass it down in the best way possible, which in my opinion is not just giving some random person money, but teaching them skills. And I think someone like this, who's learned awesome lessons, I love this video, should actually go into the workforce in an odd way, not in the traditional sense where he goes back to work, but go into the workforce and teach other people. Like legitimately be like, hey, here's things I wish I did differently. I wish I didn't worry as much. You don't look back on your life and go, I wish I reported, 2 months earlier to my boss about XYZ. You're like, no, I'm glad I took an extra trip with my kids, or I'm glad I did XYZ. So that's what I'm thinking. So another reaction, lots of different clips out there. Some of these I really liked, some of these not so much, okay? There's some crazy stuff out there. At the same time, I wanna make sure you're doing the right thing. So a 401k is not bogus, okay? Roth IRA is not bogus. And if you do a universal life insurance product, it also doesn't mean you're not gonna be okay. These are all different avenues so that you can do what you wanna do. But I find, to sum it up, most people are trying to get the most money out of life, which is not the goal. The goal is to get the most life out of your money. If you wanted to have the most money, just keep working 40 more years. You'll be just fine. So hopefully this was helpful, somewhat entertaining for you guys. If this was, please do let me know in the comments if you want more videos just like this. Love you guys.